We've watched over the last 50 plus days how the administration has profoundly eroded or damaged or destroyed the trust that we've had with our historic allies. Question is, what would it take, what could it take to rebuild that trust? Is it even possible or probable given the extremes that seem to drive our national politics?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a very good question, and I think feeds directly from the answer to the last question, which is the US needed to reform its alliances. And from my point of view, that was something that had to be done. It is absolutely essential. The US is over-leveraged around the world. We are in relative decline compared to China, but compared to others as well. That is to say, we're not actually declining economically, but they're rising to meet us faster. And so there are places, and Europe, I think, is perhaps the most obvious. There are places where we have, economically and technologically advanced allies that rely on the US to defend them, right? They rely on the US taxpayer to pay for their defense so they don't have to do it themselves. And if I were them, and cards on the table here, I'm also a British citizen, that's a pretty good deal for Europeans, right? I might do it if I were in their shoes. But the US has to resolve that somewhat. If we are going to prioritize, if we are going to focus on China, if we're going to focus on the things that really matter, then we need to push allies to do more. And the question in Washington has always been, how do you do that? We've seen ineffective attempts to do this across a range of administrations, right? Back to 2011, Bob Gates, at the time working for Obama, told Europeans that NATO would be an empty husk within 20 years if Europeans didn't step up and do more. Every administration since then and every administration before then has told them they have to do more, but they've only started to step up during the first Trump administration, a little after the invasion of Ukraine, and now we're seeing Europeans start to organize for defense. So again, I don't like the way this administration is going about it, but I'm increasingly wondering if maybe that lack of trust that you're talking about, if maybe European states losing a little bit of their faith that the US would automatically defend them, maybe losing a little bit of that faith is what will finally push them to do it for themselves.